Welcome to TechMark Pod, where we innovate, discuss, and discover the dynamic intersection of technology and marketing. In each episode, we explore how businesses can leverage both to drive growth and innovation. Meet Alvin, our esteemed host for TechMark Pod. With over 15 years of experience as a renowned marketer, project manager, and software as a service architect, join us as we uncover the unique value proposition of integrating technology and marketing strategies, helping you stay ahead in this fast-paced digital world.
Hi everyone, welcome to TechMark Pod. Today I've been joined by Shalmore Khuleya. So today I want to make it different, right? So I'm going to read Shalmore's LinkedIn page, what it says about him. So Shalmore Khuleya is a PhD candidate, multi-award winner, right? Listen to that, multi-award winner. A seasoned commercial strategist and sales leader with over 20 years of experience driving growth, market penetration, channel development in Zimbabwe's informal, modern trade, and general trade sectors. With a strong academic foundation, including a PhD in progress and a master's in strategic management, he has led regional portfolios across FMCG giants like Delta, Saxon Enterprises, Dairy Private Limited, and currently with an international FMCG. His experience is mostly in the beverage sector for both the alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. His expertise spans territory management, distributor development, sales forecasting, trade execution, and customer engagement, backed by hands-on leadership in all the sectors, notably at Saxon Enterprise and Dairy. Shalmore successfully led the national drive for leading consumer brands into informal markets, combining deep market insights with a strong focus on results, team development, trade visibility. His blend of corporate experience and informal market savvy makes him exceptionally suited to lead growth and innovation in dynamic, under-penetrated market segments. Wow, Shao, welcome to TechMark Pod. This is a very long bio from LinkedIn, but I love it.
Thank you so much, Alvin. It's nice to be here. Hello, everyone.
I'm just wondering if you still need to introduce yourself, because right now I've turned it around. Normally, what I do is I always ask my guests to introduce themselves, but I've actually said what's written on your LinkedIn page. So I'm going to ask you what I've read already, and I think I'll start there. It's written multi-award winner. Which awards are these?
Okay, so the first award that I got was in 2023 when I was the national sales manager for Dairy. I was sales manager of the year, platinum award, which was awarded by the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe. And then in the same year, I also got an award of excellence from the CEOs Network Zimbabwe. So I think it was one of my most historic and very celebrated moments in my life and entire career, which I look back with so much pride. And I thank God for those two awards. And they actually changed my career tone and shaped me to the person that I am today. So I'm grateful.
No, congratulations, sir. That's a milestone.
So
I remember you telling me your story for you from entering the market with a high school qualification. Now you're talking about achieving those milestones where you have been awarded for being the best salesperson. And I mean, the story goes along to now becoming a PhD student. I mean, that's really a big achievement within the sales, the sales world. So let me tell you something about sales, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I can use the word okay. I'm not good at sales. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. So I'm accepting my weakness when it comes to sales. And when I meet someone who has won awards, I still try to understand, how did you do it? How do you even become such a recognized individual in the sales world, right? So I think let's talk about your entry into the commercial world from when you had your high school qualification.
Well, thank you so much, Alvin, for that chance. And to be honest, I entered the commercial world at a very young age. I think I was 24 then, in 2004. And the only qualification that I had was my A level. And one company that I pay tribute to is Delta Beverages, because they awarded me an opportunity to get into the system at a very young age. And the first job that I took up with Delta was not much of a fancy job. The title itself was track assistant. Literally, it's one job that whose interview I went to without having a very deep idea and understanding as to what sort of expectations was I supposed to be fulfilling. So I remember very well, I went for the interview and then I went for the medicals. And then coming back from the medicals, the then distribution supervisor called Mr. Nicholas Mangaya. He's late now and may so rest in peace. I remember seeing him waiting for me at the Bindura Delta Beverage Depot, holding some pairs of work shoes, safety shoes, and gloves. So I'm like, so what exactly is going to be happening here? And I can tell you that's how my journey started. And 3 months after that, we got confirmed to be permanent employees. And obviously, by God's grace, I would say, the team that I used to work with then, the leadership, Mr. Mdawan Chuma, Mr. Josiah Bande is late also, may he so rest in peace. I think they really took time to look at the potential that was in the young man who was just coming direct straight from high school, and they believed in me. So I remember my next assignment from there was becoming a merchandiser, and then I didn't stay there for too long, and then I became the depot admin clerk, and the journey started, Alvin. So it's been God's
Wow.
grace from day one. Yeah, it's been God's grace. And I maybe just fast forward, I was with Delta from 2004, assuming different positions up until I got promoted to the position of sales rep. So it was during that time when I got to the position of sales rep, because my first qualification that I did after I got in was a very small certificate in sales and marketing. So I took it up, and then I knew what I was so passionate about, because the people that I used to work with then, I would look to them with so much envy and pride, say, someday I'd want to be a sales rep, because I think then things were so good, and you see them, you could see that they were laughing what they used to do. So I aspired for that. So it then prompted me to do my first certification in sales marketing, which is from a college called College of Professional Management. It was a British college then. Yeah, I think they're still in existence. And then I realized that in terms of its strength, it may not have been that powerful for me to then get elevated from there going forward. And then I opted to do my first BBA in marketing management with the Institute of Marketing Management in South Africa, IMM, which is one of the most powerful institutions when you talk of marketing qualifications. It was a very, very long, tiring journey, I'll tell you, Alvin, because then I changed markets. Initially, when I got into the system, I was based in Bindura, that's my hometown. And then when I moved to this position of sales rep, I was based in Harare. So I was in Harare briefly, because I then remember I had to be transferred to Chegutu, Mash West, which was basically a new market altogether. There hadn't been any sales and marketing resource there under the Coca-Cola SBU. So I had to go there. So juggling between work and studies was quite hard. I don't want to lie to you. It was difficult, and the amount of execution that we used to undertake would be very, very thorough. So it left not much energy for you to then be able to concentrate on books. But guess what? It needed to be done. And even towards finishing the program, you need to partake in some lectures back in Harare. So it meant quite a lot of drive time from Chegutkaloma back into Harare for lesson. So that's how my academic journey started. So after I graduated, that was in 2022. No, it was
Yeah.
in 2020. I graduated with my BBA in marketing management. It took me almost to 5 or so years to finish off, because it was tough. And I remember, because of the work pressure, I failed some modules, and then I had to take them up and so on. It was after I finished and graduated with that undergrad that also opportunities started coming up. And I think in 2021, around February, I then had to say goodbye to my long-lived company. It was quite an emotional decision, because I had made friends, we'd bonded so well. And having spent quite almost 16 plus years with the system, it was something that wasn't easy to drop. So that's when I joined a company called Saxon Enterprise as head of sales for their
Yeah.
beverage unit. Yeah.
So
So
So before you
yes.
before you go further with the history of your experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a few questions that I want to ask
Mm-hmm.
that I picked up from what you are
Yes.
saying. So
Mm.
I've got this
Yes.
idea of thinking that maybe individuals, they should possibly go to work first and understand what they want to do and then go back to school. I've realized
Mm-hmm.
that we tend to go to tertiary, most of us,
Mm-hmm.
without a
Mm-hmm.
clear understanding of what we want to
What
do
you want to do.
exactly.
Very
So
true.
many
Very true.
times, yeah, many
Mm-hmm.
times we go graduate for the sake of the family
Mm-hmm.
because the parents, they want you to graduate. So you go and pick up a degree, whichever way
Mm-hmm.
that you pick up, because maybe you're the first one to graduate in the whole village. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So
It's
I don't
very
know. What do
true.
you think about this situation where suppose I'm asking me purposely because I know you came
Mm-hmm.
from school, then you went into the system, then you went back to school.
Yeah, I
What's your
see.
take on that? I know you're gonna be biased, but I'm just weighing the options. I went through the process of going from high school, then I went to university. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think?
All right. Ideally, what I would prefer, given opportunities coming one's way, I think it's prudent to just have a few of the industry and make a decision once you're in. Obviously, I'm not going to say so because of my experience, but you notice that you have people that are now doing marketing, but they did IT at uni.
Mm,
So it
mm,
takes a bit of time to get an identity in terms of your career. And in all things being said, we all make plans, but eventually God decides. And you realize that even if you may so wish to become a pilot. You remember back in primary school, and teachers would ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And you say, "No, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a soldier, and this and that." So, but
yeah,
I come from a background where I believe our lives are predetermined by the Almighty, and us living them
yeah.
is just a fulfillment of what He has in store for us. So that's why you see in most cases, people, of course, it's nature. People get pissed off, people get frustrated, people get bitter when what they want do not come to life. But I've taken comfort in having that at the back part of my mind. So typically, out of my journey, I've learned quite a lot. And one key thing that I acknowledge, just like what you said, is to at least to give people a platform to get into the industry. The only unfortunate part of it is that then I think the opportunities were all over. You could make choices because of the challenges that our country's been going through. Obviously, we were looking forward to better days. The same opportunities that I got then may not be present now to the kids that are leaving high school. So you notice that
Mm.
more likely just to while up time and see how things develop into the future. Sending kids to university may also be a timing factor, just to wait maybe for the rightful opportunities to come after they're done with uni. But given a choice and given the abundance of opportunities, I think it's fair to give the kids an opportunity.
So you probably take a gap year after high
Mm,
school, then you get into an environment
yeah,
where you then understand what it takes to be that
absolutely.
kind of person, and
Absolutely.
then you go back
Yes.
again to school.
When you topic again,
Yeah.
when you're so sure and your mind is so settled to know exactly, like okay, I did IT, but I think I'm a people's person. I would love to spend my career mostly doing marketing or sales, because I think eventually at the end of the day, above qualifications, for me, it's the passion that matters. Because you notice where passion
Mm.
is not there, you will not achieve anything. Yeah.
Wow. So, my understanding, you got most of your experience at Delta
Yes.
Corporation,
Yeah.
right? And Delta is an FMCG. They've got a huge line of products, mainly beverage products, right? I wanted to ask you, what does sales and marketing means to you, or actually the difference? Because you know what, as a marketer,
Mm.
I've been in spaces where I've been told to go and do sales because there's an assumption that a marketer knows sales
They
or a
integrate.
salesperson knows,
Yeah.
or either way of the two. What's your take on that, sir?
What I would say is just from a lighter point of view, when you're talking about marketing, it's more to do on brand building and the perception that you'd want your market to have about your product. And you notice that market is mostly concentrated on strategies that they have a lot to do on how they should make noise out there, how they should create the brand awareness, how they should know that someone is in existence, someone is in life. Whereas sales now, it goes a step further because it's like the heartbeat of having that product or service bought or purchased. Because if you look at sales, for instance, it's more to do with the execution. And if you're not going to be holistic, if you're going to be sharp with your marketing and not be holistic with your sales side of it, you will not go anywhere. So, of course, there have been instances where companies may have constrained budgets and they expect one resource to handle both the sales part of it and marketing part of it. Doable as it may be, but it suffocates. It suffocates a lot because you notice chances are that when you're in sales, you're hardly settled. You don't function from the
Mhm.
office. You possibly do a 1 day into the office and you're back in the market. You need to spend more of your time in the trade because that's where things happen. That's where you get the vibe of what exactly is going on. Especially if you look at our country, Zimbabwe, during the times
Yeah.
when you have currency rates going up and down. If you didn't spend your time in the trade, you'll know. You'd wake up tomorrow, maybe the rate has gone up or it has gone down. So that's
I
more, I'll speak.
picked up
Mm,
something from a description, right?
mm,
That talks about the
mm,
informal market. So
mhm,
now I want to ask about that informal market and your
mm,
understanding of informal market because I'm trying
mm.
to think, what does it mean when you talk about informal market?
Okay, thank you so much, Alvin, for that. So there are two kinds of economies now, especially in Zim. We got the formal
Mm,
market and you got the informal market. And when you talk about the formal market, these are our normal, okay, pick and pays, spas, any riches, all those that we've known over time. And then when you talk of the informal markets, now you're talking of a setup where everything is formalized, from the relationships with suppliers to the way they do business. In most cases, before the government stepped in, I think we had a scenario where people would not remit taxes and people would smuggle goods to come into the country and all, but I'm sure that has been fixed. Generally, where the informal market goes a step further is the customers take ownership of each other. The relationship is more personal than it is with the formal setup. The formal setup is where you're dealing with the company A and they've got a resource in a certain supplying company. And then you deal up to a certain level, but the informal part of it is too personal, where a lot of factors are taken into consideration. There are a lot of risks associated with the informal market, but you basically do together on the basis of trust. And in the process, the customer's win is also a company's win. So as you represent your company,
mm,
protect its interest, and also making sure that you're servicing the customer in a good way, which makes them enjoy dealing with you. So how did this informal business come about? I think at a time when a lot of companies were busy sorting for the forex, the informal market was flooded. And that's where you get customers that will tell you, okay, supply me so much quantities, and then I'll pay cash. Supply me with
yeah.
a food truck or so much, I'll pay cash, but provided you at least give me a discount. So you see how personal it became. So this is the reason why you notice quite a yeah.
So while you are there, I want to
Mm,
understand, as a professional
mm,
salesperson, there's
mm,
definitely different strategies and approaches that you have
mm.
to apply for the different markets.
Exactly. Very true. It's very true. It's not a copy and paste model, Alvin, I'll tell you. Because with the sensitivity that our markets have, especially the volatility in Zim, like I spoke about the risks involved in the informal channel, for instance, you can supply 2, 3 truckloads to your customer and wake up the following day and they shut. They go. So it's part of life. But to make sure you safeguard the interests of the company, you have to make sure that the customer undergoes the normal procedures in terms of registration and adherence to the company's policies and SOPs in terms of functioning, and also over and above protecting the company's image in terms of how they adhere to the government laws and rules. So you have to be compliant and tick every box and make sure you're not exposed. But you notice, I think, even if you come to Zimbabwe right now, if you go downtown in Leopold, Takawira, there's a whole lot of activity happening. But what I'm just happy is,
Mhm.
I'm happy about is like that. I think the government has stepped in to make sure there's a bit of some trading sanity there, and also them generating revenue. Because I know maybe when we started off with this informal channel, the shops were not remitting any taxes to the government and so on. So now there's a bit of distance, but I think still people prefer to go there. And obviously there are so many risks involved as well, because those that manufacture counterfeit products have also found the pathway in the
Mm,
informal channel based on the pricing aspect. So yeah, it's a whole lot
wow.
of a different
Again,
gameplay together. Yeah.
I understand you very well that it's not an easy task to become a sales and a marketing executive in Zimbabwe coming from a
Yeah.
different economy.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
interestingly, I'm just trying to think now. Interestingly, you know what's happening in the world
Mm.
is many jobs are being disrupted by AI. But it seems like
Mm.
in Zimbabwe, economy disrupts the jobs faster than AI does.
So we are not with, I think just like another country and another person, another source resource. We okay. The way I view it, AI
Yeah.
is not a threat. It's just an enabler. It helps us.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I think if you're gonna ask me about the future of AI in the sales and marketing
Yeah.
industry, I don't think it's anyhow under threat, because the sort of effects that people in America would feel and us feeling, it's not going to be the same. So I think we'll definitely embrace it and
Yeah.
make it help us. But there are things that it will not be able to compensate. And obviously, like, the kind of engagement that I spoke to, those AI can't replace. You definitely need a resource on the ground to make sure that they authentify things that are happening, and they engage people in the rightful manners. Also, it's a
Yeah.
whole lot of a setup altogether.
Exactly. So I mean, your journey has been amazing, right?
Thank you so much.
Currently, you're working for international FMCG, and
Mm.
you're now being exposed to regional markets.
Mm.
I mean, someone who grew up in Chebutu, Bindura, or
Mm.
Harare,
Mm.
around that area, and now you are now moving into Zambia,
Mm.
and other regional markets. What is the difference, and what does it take for you as a sales and marketing executive to be able to work in those markets?
I think from a bookish point of view, the
Mm,
future sales and marketing has got things that are laid out in the modules that we read and learn about at school. And then that's the theoretical part. And then there comes the practical part. So the
yeah.
resonance between theory and the practice is what makes a person a powerful resource. And if you get to a point where you can actually take note of what needs to be done in between the two, the wiser you become. So you'll notice that it's never a copy and paste scenario. Because if you look at Zim as a market, it has got this one set of challenges, and same applies even if you go to Zambia. However, there are things that we learned at school, obviously, that we always give reference to that are more likely to be the same. And chief amongst them, the most sensitive one being the economical status of any given land, because our industry thrives mostly on how the economy is functioning in any specific country. So if you look at SADC region, for instance, we may be different here and there. Obviously, South Africa doing better more than most countries. And if you look at Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Botswana, we still have got a whole lot of some set of challenges that we need to overcome. But normally the basics that would make you write a success story, they may differ here and there. You tweak here and there, but they're the same. And also, I think one thing that also falls into play is maybe the language barrier, because you notice if you go into a
Mm,
foreign language, obviously, you more likely, the top executives, you can be able to converse with them in English. But if you want to go deep down, if for instance, if you have to go deep down to Kitwe's province of Zambia, you should be prepared to meet people that may not be able to talk to you in English. So those are some of the challenges. But I think for any company to have well interests vested into any specific geographical areas, especially as far as expansion is concerned, the main thing that tops the list on the issues to do with the KPIs has to be viability and feasibility. That's the language that we talk about. So if you see that
mm.
working, then you may as well be very comfortable to get in there and be able to deal with anything that comes your way.
So, w- whilst you were studying marketing,
Mhm.
Is there any module that stood out a lot for you and applicable to what you do?
Yeah, for me, I think one of the key modules was the communication module, because I can tell you from communication, you build the relationship. In fact, to be very precise, in my field, the epicenter of it all is the setting up of a relationship foundation. To be able to win in the sales and marketing field, you need to make sure that you're very good in creating and maintaining relationships. So the communication module obviously stood out as one that confirmed that we need to do what needs to be done. And I can tell you, I learned a lot. And obviously, it would also put you into a space where you should expect to meet people that are different, people that think otherwise, that think maybe your company is just out there to fleece people and so on. So you should be in a position to defend not only yourself, but the company as well. And
Yeah.
still on that, you need to be loyal to the company that you are serving at any particular moment, because if you're not loyal, then you'll not be able to speak and read from the same book with them. But I'm happy that the company that I worked for, I think I applied myself to the fullest of my capacity, and I remain
Yeah.
indebted to that. Yeah.
Can I give you a scenario
Mhm.
and I want to put you on the spot to probably come up with
Mhm.
a sales strategy?
Mhm.
All right. Okay, cool.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
I'm wearing a t-shirt. This is our own
Mhm.
software called Hako Events, right? So
Mhm.
Hako
Mhm.
Events, Hako is a Setswana term which means build, right? So Hako
Mhm.
Events,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
an event management software. Right. So
Okay.
to give you context of an event management software, you can, I mean, if you pay for Zoom Pro and all that stuff, you now have
Mhm.
features where you can use the software to have an RSVP or a conference, online
Mhm.
conference or webinars and all that stuff. So if Hako is to penetrate into a market which is Zimbabwe, right?
Mhm.
I understand the
Mhm.
FMCG, but you're a sales
Mhm.
and marketing person. So I'm just asking, what will be on top of your head? What will be
Mhm.
your sales strategy?
So I think the first thing before I respond, please let me know where I can send the invoice to for consultation.
You usually can send to me, not a problem.
Just on a lighter note, but yeah, just kidding, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing or one component that you need to account for that's going to make you a success in Zim is obviously to go through the SWOT analysis.
Okay.
And when I took the SWOT analysis, I mean, you need to look exactly the same way we were saying and describing the software. You need to look at your strength and then to see, okay, this is who we are. Okay. And then you look at your weaknesses. So then say, okay, fine. As far as we are a giant in our own capacity and thinking, but what are our immediate weaknesses? If we get into Zimbabwe, who are the players that are already there? What is it that you're going to give to the Zimbabwean market that hasn't been offered to them before? Okay. And then obviously the opportunities for the all opportunities always be there. Whether we're trading in the local currency, in the USD, opportunities will always be there. For some people say that time to prepare for war is when there's peace. So opportunities always be there. So you need to plan from that point
Wow.
of view. And yeah.
So it's a new product it's a new product in, can I call it a new product? It is a new product in a new market, basically.
Yes.
So you're taking Hako from South Africa and you put it in Zimbabwe. So
But confirm in South Africa is in existence, right?
it's in existence. Yeah.
Already. Yes. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it only becomes a new product and offering in a different geographical space, like what you're saying. So already, I think you definitely get it messed up if you copy and paste the success that you wrote in South Africa and bring to Zim, because obviously they're different in a whole lot of variations in terms of the market dynamics. So what I would actually suggest is doing that feasibility study, because obviously before you even come, you need to do a market research and really get to understand exactly who is offering that service at the moment here in Zimbabwe. What are the dilemmas? How far have they gone? And what's the room? What are the barriers to entry? in that field. What are the threats and what are the weaknesses? And there comes, I think, for me, the wins that I've managed to get with the teams that I've worked with, Alvin, I think we've won more in the boardrooms than in the market, because
Okay.
is key, man. You measure twice and you cut once. No two ways about it. So if you get it right on the planning aspect, on the feasibility part of it, you've won halfway through. And in the process of doing that, I can tell you, you should be prepared for some very uncomfortable discussions. You should be prepared for some high-pitched voices. Anything can happen, but in the spirit of making sure that you deliver the best. So when you see most of the organizations now executing in trade, it's like running a marathon. For me, the winning part doesn't matter, but the preparation part of it is what is very key. So I can share the same concept with you in the regard of the software. You got the impossibles are only then tried. You got room to do the best, but on the basis of what I shared. And if you look at it holistically without any bias, and also open up to engage other team players that have got other inputs, because I feel from the cleaner to the person who brings tea to your desk, if you ask them about any subject that concerns progress, they've got something to share. And the choice is entirely yours to take it or not. But what life has taught me is at some point you remember. Yeah. But I once heard this from the hedge cutter, the groundsman, spoke about this at some point. Yeah.
Wow. You just reminded me of a concept of if you're told to sweep under the tree, what do you do first? Right? Many people would just sweep under the tree, but apparently you need to shake the tree and then you sweep under the tree, which is the preparation part that you just mentioned. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yeah, let's talk about what has inspired you to pursue a PhD. You've been successful for 20 years, Shalmore, and then you just decided to pursue a PhD. What is this PhD about?
Well, the PhD is mostly about leadership, business management. That's what it's more to do about. And I come from a family, Alvin, where I spent much of my childhood without my parents. I grew up staying with my siblings and with my eldest brother and his family. So him being the eldest brother, one thing that he taught us, which I always pay tribute to as long as I live under the sun, is to say that if you want to shake off the chains of poverty, man has to go to school. Man needs to learn. That was his mantra. And we did perfectly that, which I'm sure he's so proud of, because all his siblings have walked the talk. And we inspire each other in the process of life. And whenever we meet for family gatherings, not a conversation comes to an end without one asking the other one, so now, what are you doing with your life? How far have you gone with studies? And so on and so on. So I feel very, very proud to be coming from such a background. And I believe in as much as society's got a way to say that in Zim at the moment school is not paying off as much as it should be, I'm not really bothered about that, because I know I'm not going to be under the sun for forever and for the longest time. So eventually I see beyond. And one key thing that I would want to leave is a legacy, not only tagged to the family name or to the kids, but even to all those that will dare to research and know more about what it means to believe in oneself and what it means to be going to school and to be making out of the best out of yourself. So yeah, that's one of the key reasons why I opted to take up the PhD after my master's. And like I said, balancing work and school is never easy. But then I think I've come to a point where I feel it's very addictive. I can't stop learning now. So when I finish something, I always feel like I need to always keep myself busy. So I come from that background, Alvin, and I hope I'll be able to inspire generations. Yeah.
Definitely. And what does the future means as a sales and marketing executive and moving into the PhD? Where do you see yourself?
Well, for me, I think eventually the amount of energy that I have now, and that I'm more likely to have in the next few years is not going to be the same. Just like a car, you go through the wear and tear. So there's a bit of some energy that I possibly had even when I entered the commercial space. which has slowed down into where I am now. So I think where I position myself is to be more of a strategist, more of a leader, and also I've been the company that I work for currently has been in the open space, trying to make sure that we also get to reach out to kids and be part of their career guidances, to make them ambitious and to understand what it means to take good care of yourself, to work hard in life, and also to continuously improve yourself academically. So I foresee myself, given a choice, I would have wanted to be planning about my retirement now, but obviously forces be there that make against. You need to hang around a bit, but my end game, God so willing, I think I would really want to put in more on the strategy formulation, and also being there for any people that would want to come for consultations on how they can penetrate into new markets, just like what you're asking.
Just like me.
That's what I wish for. Yeah,
Definitely.
So
I'll formally come since you
mm,
just mentioned it.
good.
But I think it's an exciting future for you. Definitely sounds like a very exciting future. I think we've actually spoke a lot more than Shalmore, and I actually enjoyed
Mm,
the conversation that I've had with you.
Thank you so much.
I think before we can close this episode,
Mm,
are there any parting words that you would want to share with anybody who's listening to this podcast? I mean, we've got a variety of people that listen to the podcast, from
mm,
students
Yeah,
to professional startups, SMEs.
mm.
They will want to hear from you more.
Thank you so much, Alvin, for that. I think it's a very important platform, and obviously, I'm not going to be taking the bias towards the people that are all in sales and marketing only. But I think to everyone who get to listen, one key thing is obviously there variations in terms of our religious beliefs, but I'm a practicing Christian, so I'll speak from that point of view. One thing that I've known is we ought to believe in God, and we ought to remember that we are here because of His mercies, and we are not here forever. Our time is very short, and we need to make the best out of it. And in the process of making the best out of it, we need to be people that learn to be very true to themselves so that they can also be true to other people out there. Cannot treat yourself, I can tell you nothing will work. And secondly, I need to pay tribute to my family, especially my siblings. We lost our parents some time back, and it being a point of motivation, which I think also any person listening, you can take a moment to look back as to how you relate with your siblings and family, and see how you can be a formidable force to approach life in a very sober way. And thirdly, be passion driven. For me, it's about passion, I can tell you. And if ever anyone chose the field of sales and marketing, and you don't have the passion to say, you don't have the passion to talk, I'm so sorry to tell you that in the wrong field, because it's very painful. You need to be very passionate about what you do. Even if you're an accountant, give it the best shot. Even if you are in audit or whatever, if you're a lawyer, whatever that you may be, go for the best. Even if you're is into digital creation, working anyway, give it the best that you can. So that one drives me. If you look at my profile on all the companies that I've worked for, I've given it the best shot. I've given the best shot as if I didn't know that at some point I'll need to say goodbye to the company. It's called passion. So you win first when passion is top notch. The rest falls into place. And the other fourth there one is, don't get tired of learning. Life never stops teaching. We learn something new every day. So don't ever get tired of learning. You should always make sure that you strive to upgrade yourself academically. I've seen how powerful education can be. I have seen how education can improve the quality of discussions. You put up in a setup where you look around the table. This one is a master's holder. This one is a degree holder. And the sort of input that they give is so much of good quality. And I tell you, it means a lot, especially to me. So I think that's basically what I would want to share with the audience, and wishing them all the best in whatever that they endeavor and wish for.
Thank you very much, Shalmore. It's been a pleasure talking to you, right?
Thank you.
So definitely. Thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for sharing and engaging with us on the past episodes. I would like to say continue doing the same with this episode as well. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.